Whispering Walls. In a quiet, forgotten town, there stood an old, dilapidated house known as the Whispering Walls. The house had been abandoned for decades, shrouded in mystery and fear. Locals believed that anyone who entered would never return, lured to their doom by the whispers that echoed through its walls. One stormy night, a curious traveler named Daniel arrived in town. Ignoring the warnings of the townspeople, he was drawn to the house by an inexplicable force. The rain poured heavily as he approached the creaking gate, which opened on its own with a mournful wail. Inside, the air was cold and musty. The faint sound of whispers began to fill his ears, growing louder and more insistent. "Leave. Leave now," they hissed, but Daniel, entranced by the eerie call, pressed on. He wandered through the decaying rooms, each step echoing in the silence. As he reached the heart of the house, the whispers became clear, forming words and names, recounting stories of despair and suffering. A chill ran down his spine when he realized the voices were calling out to him by name. "Daniel, we've been waiting." Panic began to set in, but his feet seemed glued to the floor. The walls around him pulsated and groaned, as if alive. Suddenly, a door slammed shut behind him, trapping him in a room lit by a single flickering candle. The whispers now turned to screams, and the walls began to close in on him, squeezing tighter and tighter. Daniel frantically searched for a way out, but every door and window had vanished. The walls, now inches from his face, began to breathe, their cold touch sucking the warmth from his body. He screamed for help, but his cries were swallowed by the house. As the walls pressed against him, the last thing Daniel saw was a grotesque face forming in the plaster, grinning wickedly. The house let out a sigh of satisfaction as it consumed him, the whispers fading into silence. In the morning, the townspeople found the gate of the Whispering Walls closed, with no sign of Daniel. They knew the house had claimed another victim, and once again it stood silent and waiting, ready to lure its next prey. And so the legend of the Whispering Walls lived on, a warning to all who might wander too close to the house that hungered for souls, forever whispering in the night.